Hey everyone, Anthony I'm here. Haven't posted for a while, so I'm going to talk about the idea that having money makes you more of who you were before. I think it's a very true statement in many ways, probably about 90% of the time. And it's a useful sort of metric for seeing how people operate in the real world. So my net worth is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I spend very little of that, and I do spend collectively to how much that I have, but I don't overspend generally. I'm very frugal, and I would still call myself a minimalist, even though by the standards of someone living in poverty, that's somewhat an insult to them. But I still regard myself as a minimalist. When I was young, my parents used to teach me to kind of have greed over money, and the little coins that we found in trolleys, we would push the trolley and then get the 20 cents out of the trolley. And these sorts of habits were very, not only fun, but they were very instrumental in making me the sort of person that I am, the minimalist that I am today, and to value money to such a great extent. Even though it's like 20 cents, I will still go the extra mile to get that 20-cent coin. And it's the same thing today. When I find a bottle on the street or something, and have the means to bring it to a recycling center, I will do that to get the 10 cents for that particular can or bottle. But it's not my occupation because I don't pick up litter all the time. So it's just something that that sometimes I will do if there's a lot of them on the ground or something. And if I have a bag that I can put all these things in without getting my fingers dirty or something. The unfortunate thing about the inflationary world that we live in, the financial world that we live in, is that I'm now spending, $15 per meal on an outside meal, which is becoming a bit exorbitant. I used to spend like $6 or $7 on a meal, and was very, very, very frugal in how much I spent. But now it's become like $15 to get a decent, healthy meal, which is becoming exorbitant. But there's not much I can do about that. And I will occasionally say I allow myself to spend an amount of money on things which are, just so expensive. So I prefer a salad. I prefer, roast vegetables or something. Can't get that for less than $12, $15 most of the time. Pretty unfortunate that way. But if you work it out, that if you spend $15 two times a day, for every day of the year, that equates to about $15,000 a year, which is quite a lot of money. And on a disability support pension, which is what I'm on at the moment, it's pretty exorbitant to spend that amount of money just on food. I think those who have a lot of money look to make ways to make even more money, and that's why the system is so skewed, because they're very smart people and they know how to manipulate the systems, not pay tax, incorporate business principles which maximize their earnings, that sort of thing. And unfortunately, those who are poor will often remain that way unless they get a toehold on something that's really, really energizing to them. Such as when I got into the big issue, I found that I was earning a lot of money, and I stayed that way, and I was very resource efficient in that way. So it doesn't happen to everybody, and it's just rare. So I feel very lucky in that sense. Now, in ethical terms, it's very interesting because the rule that money makes you more of the person that you already were is a very ethical based consideration to have. If you were corrupt when you first got money, you'll be corrupt when you get a lot of money. It's the same thing. And unfortunately, the world is not fair in that sense. So I think when we look at the ethical dimension of people having more money or less money, we realize that there's no fairness in that, and that's why capitalism is inherently flawed. Interesting thing about my brother is that he was never very much the same in terms of minimalism. He was not so much the greedy, covetous person over a 20-cent coin like I described before. He's the sort of person who will look for more expensive things and gratify himself with expensive pleasures. So you see him with expensive cars, buying an expensive second-hand car. Even though it was second-hand, it was still very expensive at the age of 20. Going traveling and enjoying himself with expensive haircuts and coffee and that sort of thing. That's his way of expressing himself. And he's not the same as me, and he don't make the same decisions as I do in life. So that's his life. And unfortunately, the fact that my dad has bequeathed half of his estate to my brother and only half to me, even though I'm in a much more dependent situation, is, I believe, unfair, and that's unfortunate for me. But there's not much I can do about that. I think money is fun for some people. It's fun when you have the money, but if you're one of those people who have been crushed by the economic system, it's not fun at all, and that's unfortunate. And as a minimalist, I feel that I have a responsibility to be very mindful and responsible of where I put my money and how I spend my money. So that will continue into the future. Hope you've learned something in this video, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.